How much are you responsible for somebody else's happiness? Zero. Completely zero. But that doesn't let you off the hook for this moment when someone is unhappy as they're speaking with you. And so speak with them, get to the bottom, get real, get to the underlying information that brought them to this conclusion, and then you can converse and be response-able to something real, because you cannot respond to a movie in the mind, to an imagination, to a story. Do you know the root meaning of the word responsibility? It means to be able to respond. It's not something you have to do. That's not what responsibility is. If you are able to respond, then you are given a responsibility, something to respond to. If you're given a responsibility in which you're not able to respond, for whatever reason, you don't have the tools, the resources, the ability, well, then you're not response-able. You're not responsible. And so knowing what you're responsible for and not is very important, isn't it? Have you taken on responsibilities that you're not responsible for? If so, perhaps you're responsible for coming forward and saying, it's too much. I need help. I can't do it all. Or I need someone else to help me do it. I need a coach. I need a guide. I need help. Beyond that, what you're responsible for is this moment, this very moment, because you have everything you need in this moment. You are this moment. That said, if you have children, you're responsible to take care of their immediate well-being, their health, their food. If they come to you and say, I don't like the way you treat me, you can respond with questions, because when someone is suffering, there's a lot they're not saying. There's a whole pile of stuff behind it and below it that they're not saying. And you can't respond to that if you don't know what it is. So you're not responsible for someone's story, someone's movie in the mind. You need to find out what's going on below that. So you can ask questions like, well, how do you know? What do you base that on? So that you can start to see some of the content of the story that they're using to suffer over. And then you can respond to those. And if they bring up something you can't respond to, you need to ask a question about that until you get real. So you ask more and more questions to get more and more real to something you can respond to. You can respond to something real. You cannot respond to a movie in the mind, a story in the mind, the content of the mind. It's not real. If someone comes to you and says, you don't love me, and you know that that isn't real, how are you going to respond to that? You're probably going to be defensive. You're probably going to argue. That's not actually responding to their problem. Behind this statement, they have all kinds of proof in their mind that they have used to come to this conclusion. And until you ask how do you know? Upon what do you base that? You don't know where they might have gone off, where they might have erred. And so you can't respond to the error. You can't help them see differently. So are you responsible ultimately for someone's happiness? No. Are you responsible to respond to this moment? Yes. How you will respond is going to depend on a lot of things, not on you and what you wish you could do or want to do or feel you should do. These are all thoughts of the mind. And it's quite often the mind that we get confused with responsibility. I should do this, I shouldn't do that, right? This is all of the mind. There's no shoulds. There is only, what does this moment call for? Are you able to directly respond to this moment? And if not, then you're responsible to find someone who can respond to this moment. That's it. That's all.